what the devil meant for evil, God will flip into good. The murder of the servant. Who's the all servant? Jesus Christ. You got Isaiah 42 verse 1, Matthew 12:18, Mark 10:45, Luke 22:27, John 13:16, all call Jesus the servant. So he's a servant of all, okay? So was Charlie a servant? The question here is Charlie the servant of the Lord? Okay, so this is Utah University. If you look at that, what you're looking at is an overview, a sky view down onto the field. Are you with me, everybody? Mm-hmm. So we're looking at the sky view of the field, and you'll see where the murder held with the arrow, that's Charlie's 10 by 10 tent. Are we all together on that one? Mm-hmm. Now, yep. Isaiah 42 verse 1 is here. The arrow is pointing. Here is my servant, whom I uphold, my chosen one, in whom I delight. Look where the arrow's pointing. It says, here is my servant. Now, also that 421, what happened this year on 421? The death of the Pope. Klaus Schwab resigned on April 21. Understand the numerics here are critical, okay? So Isaiah 42 verse 1, it says, here is my servant. But if it's here is my servant, it's got to be pointing to where the servant would be. Are you with me? So is Charlie sitting at a servant position? You tell me. That is a menorah. The middle candle is the servant candle.
Man, it sure looks like that from that aerial shot, okay. that amphitheater and the way that that's lined out.
This is overlay.
Wow.
I'm just going to not say anything for a minute and just stare at that. That's incredible.
It is.
It's perfection. It's not kind of correct. It's perfect. It is undeniable proof that Charlie Kirk is the servant of the Lord, fulfilling Isaiah 42 verse 1. He's the servant candle. The servant candle, this is important, the servant candle that is lit first is used to light the other candles each day.
Wow.
So Charlie Kirk is a servant candle that lights the other candles, and that starts the greatest revival in human history. And this is back to what Stacy said. So this is what the Lord revealed to me. This is Genesis 50, verse 20. And this ties in with Joseph. Remember the stuff that Joseph, they threw him in a pit. He went to jail. Like everything horrible happened to Joseph. And then God raised Joseph up to be the second in command of all the world. And Genesis 50, verse 20 says, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, to save the lives of many. Because this is not a battle for flesh and blood. This is a battle for souls. So Charlie's death marks the start of the greatest revival in human history. Because the revival brings people to
the Lord.
Jesus.
That's right.
The Lord. And now what happened? You literally saw, this is interesting because of the middle candle, because the 14th, if you go look at the 14th, that was actually Sunday. Okay. So if he's the servant candle, the day after his death was 9/11. Then you go to the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th. The 14th was Sunday when 20% more attendance throughout all the churches in America. And you've had people globally. I saw videos of all over the world, specifically there was some in Australia and London, people literally flocking to the streets, millions of people flocking to the streets with Charlie Kirk pictures and, and basically just being there for Charlie.
Yep.
And all that happened on the 14th. Today is the 16th. We're 2 days into it. Tomorrow's the 17th. And then we get to the last candle, the 18th, September 18th. Now, the countdown is to the 18th of September. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, okay? But I'm telling you, the mathematics are rather fast. And then furthermore, look at where the shooter was. See the red arrow at the bottom right there? The shooter was literally at the base of the menorah. This is wild. The shooter is at the base of the menorah at 142 yards. There's your 142 again. Your 1-4 and the 2.
It was
142 yards.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They were saying like 200 to start with, and they kind of came back and found it was 142.
142.
Yeah, and then
you can't make this stuff up.
I know, that's the point. I'm just trying to tell you, these are not political times, they're biblical. So the shooter is at the base of the menorah only to take out Charlie Kirk on September 10th, and then basically lighting the candle of the servant. You can't make this up. So the menorah represents the triumph of light over darkness. That's the representation of the menorah. At the time of Hanukkah, they lit one candle and they only had enough oil for one candle. But miraculously, they used that one candle and every day the oil would refill. So for 9 days, the oil lasted for enough time to make more oil. What this is saying is more oil is going to be created potentially or started on September 18th. So there's undeniable proof. You cannot argue this, that Charlie Kirk is not the servant that's referenced in Isaiah 42, verse 1. It says, "Here is my servant." It's pointing right to where he was sitting when he was shot.
Wow.
Whom I uphold, he is my chosen one in whom I delight.